Imagine a world where the most expensive defense system ever built meets its mathematical breaking point. In one single night, the sky over Tel Aviv wasn't just lit up by interceptions, it was pierced by 23 confirmed impacts that changed the face of modern warfare forever. We've been told for decades that the Iron Dome is an impenetrable wall, but what happens when the wall simply runs out of bricks? As Iran launches a swarm of low-cost drones and high-speed ballistic missiles, a terrifying question emerges. Is the West's multi-billion-dollar shield finally depleting? This isn't just about a conflict between two nations. It's a global logistical nightmare involving the United States' most secretive defense protocols. Tonight, we aren't just looking at explosions. We are analyzing the supply chain of war and the hidden strategic gap that no one is talking about. Are we witnessing the end of aerial invincibility? Let's dive deep into the math, the money, and the missiles that are reshaping the Middle East into 026. Welcome to Money Over Power, your destination for the strategic analysis of global shifts and the hidden economics of war. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts below to join our community of analysts. Let's jump straight back into the tactical data and the reality of this massive escalation. The math of saturation modern warfare is no longer just about who has the biggest bomb. It's about a concept called saturation. To understand why 23 impacts happened in one night, we have to look at the numbers. Israel's defense is a multi-layered masterpiece, the Iron Dome for short-range, David's sling for mid-range, and the Arrow system for long-range ballistic threats. However, every computer system has a processing limit. When Iran launched its massive barrage, they weren't just aiming for targets. They were aiming to overwhelm the software. In military slang, this is called saturating the sensor. If a battery has 20 interceptors ready to fire, and 40 targets appear on the radar simultaneously, the system has to make a split-second choice. This target prioritization is where the gap opens. Those 23 impacts in Tel Aviv suggest that the sheer volume of incoming fire forced the defense systems to ignore certain projectiles to save interceptors for high-value military assets. This is the buffer limit of modern technology. The interceptor depletion crisis, one of the most sensitive topics in global defense right now, is magazine depth. You cannot simply go to a store and buy an Arrow 3 interceptor. These are precision-engineered machines that take months, sometimes years, to manufacture. Each Arrow interceptor costs roughly $2 million to $3 million. On the other side, Iran is using mass-produced Shahd-style drones that cost as little as $20,000 and ballistic missiles that are a fraction of the cost of the defense. This is economic attrition. If Israel is forced to spend $100 million in a single hour to stop $5 million worth of incoming threats, the financial and logistical sustainability of the war comes into question. Reports suggesting that Israel ran out of missiles are technically interpreted by analysts as critical depletion. It means the rate of fire is faster than the rate of production. This is why the night of 23 impacts sent shockwaves through the Pentagon. It proved that a low-tech enemy can bankrupt a high-tech defense through sheer persistence. The U.S. shield, the THAAD, and Aegis factor. This is where the United States moves from the background to the front line. The U.S. isn't just a diplomatic ally. They are the logistical battery of the Middle East. When the interceptor levels hit the red zone, the U.S. deployed the THAAD Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System. This is America's crown jewel of defense, along with Aegis-equipped destroyers in the Mediterranean. The U.S. has created an integrated air defense web. But why is the U.S. taking such a massive risk? Because if the Israeli shield fails completely, the entire regional security architecture collapses. The U.S. has moved thousands of Marines and advanced radar units to fill the radar gaps created by the intense bombardment. However, this creates a global overextension. Every interceptor the U.S. fires in the Middle East is one less interceptor available for other global flashpoints. We are seeing a global logistics war where the U.S. is trying to balance its own stockpiles while keeping the Middle Eastern sky closed. The technology the Iron Dome can't stop, we need to talk about the Mach 15 factor. While drones are slow, Iran's newer generation of ballistic missiles is designed to fly at hypersonic or near hypersonic speeds. When a missile travels at several times the speed of sound, the window for interception shrinks 2 seconds. This is the reaction gap. In the night of the 23 impacts, analysts observed that some projectiles used maneuverable re-entry vehicles MARVs. This means the missile doesn't just fall in a straight line. It zigzags. The Iron Dome's algorithms are designed to predict a parabolic curve. When a missile breaks that curve, the interceptor misses. This is the technological evolution that is making 20th century defense systems look outdated. The world is watching a live-action beta test of the most advanced offensive tech versus the most expensive defensive tech. The economic reality war and wealth behind every explosion is a bank account. The wealth aspect of this conflict is what will ultimately decide the winner. The war of the factories has begun. The US and Israel are currently scrambling to ramp up production of smart glass and high-grade sensors, but the global supply chain for semiconductors is still fragile. If Iran can maintain its 23 hits per night pressure, the cost of defense will eventually exceed the GDP growth of the defending nations. This is the new world order of warfare where the goal isn't to occupy land, but to make the cost of defense so high that the opponent's economy collapses under the weight of its own security. This is the hidden war that is unfolding in the background of every news headline. The final conclusion: what comes next? As we look at the data from the night Tel Aviv was hit, the conclusion is clear. The age of total aerial invincibility is over. We are entering an era of measured vulnerability. Nations will have to decide which cities to protect and which to leave exposed because no one, not even the US, has an infinite supply of interceptors. The strategic reality is that the math has shifted. The future of this conflict won't be decided by a single battle, but by the side that can manage its logistical endurance the best. Whether it's the US Marines in the Gulf or the missile technicians in Iran, the race is on to see who runs out of resources first. The night of the 23 impacts was a warning shot to the entire world. The shield has a limit, and we have just seen where it begins. As the math of warfare continues to shift, the real question remains: who can afford the next 24 hours of this high-stakes escalation? Thank you for watching Money Over Power. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next deep dive into the global forces shaping our future. Like this video and comment with your analysis below. We'll see you in the next one.